Check, fellas. We're here again.
Episode 2.
As have the people them going crazy with this analysis with these expensive cars. Let's hope that nothing,
Making waves.
let's hope that nobody go at the money yard.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully the Tommy Mackinnon editions are still intact.
Hopefully.
And nobody is,
Correct. Hopefully it's a case where they go and they make a bid as
You know.
opposed to trying to,
Yeah,
run
me,
with the money.
I'll take
Hope-
1%, thanks.
Hopefully the skyline is safe.
You need to have a commission for real. Alright, guys, so today we're going to speak about, what should be on your car maintenance checklist.
Yeah.
So, last time we spoke about maintenance, we spoke about the 21-point check, correct?
Yep.
Just making sure that I did my homework.
Yeah.
Alright. And there's a difference between servicing your car and just doing that 21-point check.
That's
Right.
true.
So today we're going to mostly focus on servicing the car, right? Now, what should be on your car maintenance checklist? Now, I did some research and I realized that in the first world, they have a monthly car maintenance, a quarterly car maintenance, and an annual car maintenance. That's the first world.
Yeah.
Because clearly they're different money. Because I only know about the 3 time. Again. Correct me again, please. I only know about the 4 time. 4 times a year. And
Just every
when
quarter.
the check car light come on,
Nah,
that's
you're still on the wrong
You're
path.
not supposed to wait for
The
that. We
light
covered
is
this in
not
episode
to
1.
come on.
Right?
but they're talking about the annual check. The 4 services a year, and then when you hear rattling,
Oh, no.
then you go into when you hear the car bounce too much, and you realize okay, shocks need to go and all that stuff. So today we're gonna just try to go through, these monthly, quarterly, and annual car maintenance checklists. So let's start off with the monthly, guys. From your guys' perspective, what should be on our monthly checklist as it pertains to, when it comes to servicing the car and make sure that we keep the car in a proper state?
I mean, as we're even talking about it too, I'm kind of thinking to myself, it kind of should maybe even be a daily or weekly routine too.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it.
It
no,
could
because-
even go that far.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, true. Because as soon as you come outside and before you go in the car, the first thing you would want to do is to check your 4 times.
Correct.
That's
Like-
what I do every morning.
What excludes it from being a weekly routine or daily routine? Daily might be a bit much,
Yeah.
but at least weekly.
Yeah.
You know?
So we can say weekly to monthly, depending
Correct.
on how much time you have in
And
your work day. Or
Context is
everyday life.
important. Context is really important in that because it depends on your vehicle, where you're living, and your conditions.
Yep.
So, for argument's sake, we're down in the tropics, sunshine, 24/7, sporadic rain. You're checking your wipers ever so often-ish. Most people wipers go bad for lack of use.
Wait, hold on.
Real
Seriously?
talk.
That's
Real
the thing?
talk.
Yeah.
It's rubber no.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
it's
So
rubber.
it
just stays there.
That's
Yeah.
true. And
Just
then
like you
start,
use tire dressing to keep your tires all shine
Yeah.
and nice and stop them from dry rotting and so. Wiper blades is rubber rubbing against a glass.
Yeah.
Not to go off topic, but why are you work in an establishment that sell them? So this is just a simple question for you. Why
Is
is
this
a
a setup?
wiper blade so expensive?
Well, I mean,
Okay, let me not say it's so expensive because for me, I
expensive
think
kind of, as you say,
Right.
context,
Yeah.
subjective.
Right, because for me, I'm thinking, listen, it's just a wiper
It's a
blade.
basic thing.
It's
Yeah.
a basic thing. So why it costs? So you can explain to me probably
So-
why it's that price because again,
Yeah.
I didn't think it was super important.
Oh,
Unless
it's-
we
I'll,
income.
I'll tell you the
So-
trap that I kind of fell into in the earlies. You think that, okay, you're buying a pair of wiper blades, they should come as a pair, and you're spending one money. When I had to buy my first set of wiper blades, and I realized, wait, you have to buy them separately, and they're
Yeah.
2 different sizes,
Yeah.
and then the longer one more expensive than the shorter one. Like,
Yeah,
what
that's
foolishness is this, you know?
Yeah, I thought it came as a
So
pair as well too.
that is what
No.
I would have thought in the beginning. So before really getting into that, I was like, why? Why they do it that way? But then you realize that we may drive 3 different vehicles,
That's true.
3 different sizes. I may drive a pickup, I may drive a compact car, you may drive a full-size sedan.
That's true.
3 different requirements. So that's why.
And I realized that like the Vits and the Fits and so on, they have a back wiper blade, whereas
Yes.
Lexus,
Yeah.
the the Yaris or the longer models,
Yeah.
they don't really have
Correct.
one because of how it slants.
Yep,
so
the
water
hatchback will
ride.
probably have a rear
Yeah,
wiper
yeah.
blade, but if you have like a sedan, how the glass is shaped, I guess the water does run off.
Correct.
know?
So a part of the monthly check. So you get up in the morning, start your open your hood, you
Yeah.
check in, pull out the iron stick, make sure the dipstick. Call it. What's the correct term
This
for that?
is the
It's
dipstick.
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 Yeah. It's a dipstick.
Yeah.
Me and this iron stick.
Oil dipstick.
Side,
You know?
side.
Yeah.
So you check that. You check the coolant.
No.
Yeah, that's a bit
How you
much
check
for-
it is also important.
That is what I was just about to say, because once again,
Yeah.
for the people who are just checking it, if for instance you live on a hill
Yeah.
and you go check your oil with your car park on a hill, you might either pull it and think, tall,
Empty.
why this is so full?
Oh, it's
I
full.
might pull it and say, wait, how come you empty?
So let me give.
So rule number one,
Yeah.
rule of thumb, when you're checking oil,
Make sure
totally
it's
flat surface.
So let me give a joke. So one day I was by a friend of mine, and we were on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
So just decide. Let me check. He was fixing his car at the time, but he had it in his garage, which is
Okay.
flat. So I was like, we just check. Want me enough and go out like me some kind of car man. So I was like, we'll pull and check and see what I got. Pull. No oil in the vehicle. I say, "Oh, pardon, I wanted no oil in the vehicle, boss." But it was due to service like maybe the next 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
But in my mind, it's like, Jesus Christ, if no oil in the vehicle, the whole engine,
Yeah,
gone.
done.
Yeah.
Iron
Yeah,
ban.
yeah.
So
Steel fan.
I am bad. So at the same time, the guy was like, he had some extra oil, and we could get into that to the type of oils and so on
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you're trying to car. Again, he was changing his oil for his car, so he decided, all right, Melo, just take an
Go
oil
through.
job because coming to find out when I went to Naja, Naja asked me, boss,
Oh, carry
why
on.
make your car full of so much oil? I was like, Naja, where's that about? I trade a quarter oil because
You trying to hold quad?
Clear throat. These things happen. These things happen.
what do I know,
Obviously, he was on a slope, and wherever the slope was, caused him to maybe not
Me
see
even
any
call
oil in the
back-
dipstick.
me even call back my partner and be like, yo, dude,
I have enough.
you're not supposed to even take into consideration that the car will on the slope. The man said, Melo, you didn't even study you. I mean, no, you say your car, when you pull out the dipstick, I see no oil for the dipstick, so we just assume no oil in the car.
Oh wow.
You understand? So at the time, that's a good
Viewers,
Right.
listeners, subscribers, rule of thumb, when
Yeah.
you're checking your oil, make sure the vehicle is on a totally flat surface.
You should do most,
Right.
if not everything, all maintenance with the vehicle on flat surface.
Right? I mean, wiper blades, them things don't matter.
Yeah.
but
put
fluids
it
and other
just
things.
to be
Yeah.
safe.
Just
even
flat.
when you check
Yeah.
with the wiper blades,
Yeah.
they're flat.
Right?
Coolant. So from the aisle, we can get back to. No, let's stick on the aisle for a minute. No, the type of aisle that you throw in the car varies from the type of car that you have.
Oh, yeah.
How can you, as somebody like for myself that's a novice, how can I know what aisle to?
Read the
Because
manual.
they have one.
Well, I was about to get to
That's
that.
a wicked man.
And if y'all can see Melo face, right, I tell you, like, for real.
Mash and
Right?
go.
Well, say one, say two.
The first,
Half the vehicles out there, unless you can read Japanese,
Those-
it's all,
yeah.
it's all no joke.
especially
So-
because we import them. Right?
Because we have
yeah.
so many imports
But
here.
Google is your friend.
That's true.
Correct. All right, that will help a lot. I mean, even if you check the manual and you go to maybe like the service part, you will see where it says like 10W30,
Yeah.
5W30, so you at least get an idea of what to use.
Well, for me, again, one, I have a good mechanic, and two, your establishment have good employees.
Yeah.
Where I go and the first thing I say, hey, come to buy a filter for a car and some oil. The first thing they ask me, what the model of the car?
Yeah.
Give me the pink slip. They will do their research. They will say, okay, these are the best options. You have the value option, and you have the more,
Yeah.
how can I put it, on the higher price tag for the racers like both of y'all. Me, I always done the economical side. Mash and go, simple movements for me. So okay, so that's one way. Google is
Alright.
our friend.
Google
So-
owner's manual.
That's true.
As you say, go to establishments where people know their stuff.
A
Even
good
beyond,
mechanic as well too.
yeah, even
Yeah.
beyond that too. I know for most of the guys, they have a database they can access. So some of the oil companies would actually give them a database
Yeah.
with tons of make and models. So for
Correct.
instance, even though some place may not have a Vitz, you may have a Yaris, which have the
Yeah,
same engine.
Same engine.
Correct.
Search for Toyota Yaris, whatever engine it is, 1NZ, and it will tell you, okay, these set of oils are compatible. And it's usually never just one particular type, one particular brand, or one particular. It's based on conditions, based on climate, based on weather.
Temperature.
Yeah.
And just not to stray a little bit, but as you said, Yaris, maybe having the same engine, I realize that some cars are named different in some regions
True.
as well.
That's true.
Just to appeal to the market.
True.
So they could
Yeah.
be the exact same car,
Yep.
but one might be a Yaris and one might be just called a Vitz
Yep.
for the
Yeah.
region. So that's a good catch. The next thing now, check the coolant level. No, I have a very check the coolant level. Let's stick there first, and then I go into my ignorance.
This is one of them that grinds my gears, but I'll get to that after, because maybe I was want to say something. This is one of them, one of the talking points.
coolant?
The coolant thing. A lot of people have a misconception of it, but yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the misconception, because
So-
I want to see if I fall in that misconception.
Whoops. So I hope you're not. But everybody has this thing where they just look at the bottle, and if the bottle empty, then the car won't coolant.
Oh, no.
And that is not the right thing per se. It's not one of the reservoirs like brake fluid or
Yeah,
power steering
yeah,
fluid.
yeah.
It's actually an overflow bottle.
That's actually what it
It's
is.
not
That's
where
the
the
correct name of
coolant
it.
goes, right? That bottle is an overflow bottle. So
Hey, I feel
it
like
is
you're
for
trying to
overflowing purposes.
listen. I feel like you're.
Right?
I guess I'm the perfect person to
Uh-oh,
host
so-
this podcast.
Yeah,
'cause
definitely.
I'm really ignorant when it comes to cars. man. Dude, once that stuff empty, coolant.
Nah.
Go in there. Always.
That should not be the case. It's an overflow bottle, but coincidentally, just like all the other reservoirs, it has like a min and a max, I think,
Yeah.
Okay.
marked on it. But that does not determine, it's separate and apart. The radiator is what hold all the coolant or antifreeze or water, whatever you put in there.
Okay.
And then as the engine heats up, sometimes it needs to cycle coolant out and in. It will push out some. If temperature goes up, it'll
Right.
pull back in when it needs it, and that's what it's there for. But when you fill that up to max now, and you have your radiator full,
Spill
you will
is
notice
imminent.
that, okay, if you have blue coolant, you realize, how come overflow bottle looking blue? Or red, or green. Because it can't overflow
Sad
and
boy.
pull and push how it's supposed to.
Sad.
Yeah.
Because the overflow bottle is
It's
now
full.
full.
Sad.
Right?
That explains a lot with me, boy.
Yeah.
Sad. But just to add, let's make a note here. That's one thing that we do have to talk about. That's a complete episode by itself.
What's that?
Where we talk about radiators and coolant, because that seems to be like a big thing in Antigua. So much so that persons make business like that's all they
Oh,
do
yeah.
24/7
Yeah, man.
every day of the week here in Antigua.
The pickets
So-
now, radiator
Yeah,
shop and
I
pickets
mean-
are always full.
Always. So that's a topic for itself.
Yeah, plus we take we do, a lot of people don't take into consideration that a radiator is not just for cooling your engine. Different vehicles have different number of radiators for different purposes. A radiator is just a device for cooling something else. So like my truck has like 6 radiators or some foolishness.
I was about to exaggerate and say 20, but six sounds about right.
Yeah, so radiators are there for different reasons, and so yeah, like, hence the reason you can have multiple radiators on a single vehicle,
Sure.
depending on whether it's a race or just it's a commercial vehicle, diesel vehicle, or just a regular sedan you're driving around. You have 2, you know.
So here the stupid question. Can you throw water in a radiator?
Not for long-term use.
And if
Yeah.
you throw water in there,
Yeah, well,
can
me
we
take
throw
that
hold
one.
on, hold on. Can we throw our type of water, whereas desalinated water in there, or should it be
Okay.
purified
This-
water, or should it be spring
So-
water?
so-
We have to get
I
into the
have
science
no
of a
water.
radiator.
I happy with this. I tell you now, this man is the boss. He just asks all the right questions.
But stupid.
Check. As it pertains to coolant or water in your radiator, a lot of people will say, like, when they're building engines, before they put in coolant or antifreeze, since it's expensive, some of them can get up to 80 EC per gallon,
Correct.
right? They would put water in there to test for leaks and so.
Okay.
If you are going to put water in there, do not use water from the tap. Do not use chlorinated water. Do not use any water with any salt in it that can create any corrosion, because you gotta go through your engine in different places and the water pumps and so. If you are going to use water, use some level of purified water. Use, distilled water,
Correct.
something that don't have any corrosive properties in it.
Yeah, no minerals.
Right? Because you're talking about chlorine and other things, and yeah, those things aren't good. Mind you, even though the water goes in your radiator, it's a circle. It comes right back around. If you notice, a radiator has two hoses, one at the top, one at the bottom usually. So it tends to cycle through. It has to go through water pump. The water pump uses seals, and it goes through different areas in the engine. You don't want any, I guess what's the scientific term? Calcification and them things going on inside the engine.
Because then it's salty.
And all of that.
Listen, that explains why within the first 6 months when I bought my first car, I had to change the
Overheat?
radiator. No, I had to change the
Oh,
I had to take out the whole radiator.
Right.
You just add
note.
water in it.
rotten out.
Let's see what I'm trying to ask.
Coolant.
And so like
I mean, they won't call that-
local colloquial terms, it's all like you put pipe water.
You have a pipe water,
You could use water from a tank or something, rainwater. Even that jack.
Yeah.
Christ.
I mean, even rainwater is a
that
little
jack.
fishy, but
You know?
Not negative. Raw pipe
yeah,
water.
the science behind a coolant is so serious that you really shouldn't. So much so
Yeah.
that when I was rebuilding my engine, I actually bought special additives to add to the coolant because there was a fault that Ford realized that there's a particular cavity that the coolant flows through that was getting corroded by the original coolant formula they had to change.
Listen, this is our second episode, right? I have a great...
Talking about cavitation and
tremendously-
calcification.
No, listen. I have listen. The respect I now have for mechanics, right? It's on a different level.
Oh, yeah.
Because before I was like, yeah, just fix
That's
mechanics.
the like a thing, and you know.
Yeah, just give me
Check me
no,
back
you're
in half
talking about
hour.
the science in the
Yeah.
coolant and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
There are many different levels on the coolant aspect. So, like for instance, racers too, they would use some level of purified or distilled water and different additives. I think there's a
Yeah.
radiator additive called water wetter,
Uh-huh.
which has an active agent in there very similar to coolant or antifreeze.
Yeah.
The real difference between, the inherent difference between water and coolant or antifreeze is two different boiling points.
Yeah.
So one protects your engine better from boilovers, and other one, if I'm not mistaken, water boils at about 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and a coolant will probably boil at about 232.
Uh-huh.
So you have what, additional 20 degrees there to work with. Plus, the coolant will have in lubrication additives, so like your water pump, to
Yeah,
extend the
for
life of that,
seals.
That's
to
true.
prevent the same thing that Oz was just talking about,
Yeah.
cavitation. Because if the water pump is moving and then it starts to create bubbles and so,
Yeah.
then it's not cooling effectively.
Yeah.
It's
Good,
now,
then there's air in there.
yeah, the water pump isn't, and air is now introduced.
You know what I like about this podcast? Because we're trying to inform the everyday drivers, right? To how you guys explain some of these key parts on the vehicle and go into the science a little bit. Somebody that's in the racing fraternity can understand, okay, maybe I need to put this in my car so I can get just a little bit more
Yeah, yeah.
horsepower.
A little more
So,
performance.
kudos to you guys.
Right.
For real. You guys, listen,
Keep the
Akeem,
100.
I'm sorry that I let you down. I didn't take the car thing a little bit more serious. I am disappointed myself. At my age now, doing a podcast about cars, I am hella disappointed.
It's always time, man.
So we can move on now. As part of the monthly, you know, maybe weekly, depending on your schedule, if you want to do it every day. Check. We talk about the brake fluid level. So it's
Yeah.
just to make sure that your car having enough brake fluid.
So that functions like how most people use an overflow bottle, right? You have a min and a max.
Right. I do know about the
Correct,
minimum.
right?
I don't
So-
know what it means, but I do know it exists.
So
Minimum
that's
and
basically
maximum.
straightforward, right?
No less and no more.
Okay.
But I guess touching on brake fluids, you have different types.
Yeah,
You have a
yeah.
.3, you have a
Yeah.
.4. You'll find like most high performance cars, motorcycles would
Yeah.
call for a .4,
Correct.
and most standard vehicles would call for a .3.
Nice.
Difference in between the two is just boiling point. Same
Yeah.
thing,
Same
kind of
thing,
like with
yeah.
the coolant.
Because brakes heat up.
Yeah. So a race car would call for .4. You're on a circuit and you're using a lot of brakes. You don't want that to boil, because if your brake fluid start boil, then you're losing brakes. You don't have as much braking power.
Let me ask
Yeah.
you guys a question. What's the longest a new set of brake shoe lasts?
That depends on your driving.
Yeah, and so many
And the
different
vehicle.
types of pads too.
And the type of brakes.
Yeah. Because you can get a
Steel.
EBC red stuff.
You know what I like about this? Again, I keep saying it, but I sincerely mean it. You know what I like about this podcast? it's like we can pull out that topic and just talk about. We can spend an hour just talking about brakes.
Oh yeah,
Talking
easy.
about. So this is good. For now, we're just going through the checkpoints and all of that. Stick around. We're gonna get into detail as it pertains to each part of this car.
Yeah.
By the time you finish, either you're gonna know everything about your car. So when you go to mechanic man can knock you no shots. Or if you're setting up a car as a young,
Car
young youth
enthusiast.
coming up, right, and you want to set up a race car, whatever the case may be. And again, drive safely. We only do racing on licensed track.
Sanctioned,
Exactly.
either the dirt track or the
And-
quarter-mile track.
Yeah, until you have too many racetrack now.
I feel like listeners and followers and subscribers are gonna start to go to the mechanic and say, yo, me listen to them, man, So yeah,
Yeah,
right,
be
do
careful
this,
with
do that. So guys, go easy.
The mechanics in Antigua might have to start an association.
I'm gonna start
Yeah.
look for now.
Yeah.
The guy behind the camera isn't seeing. It's just me and us. You check.
Disclaimer: we are not mechanics.
Hence why, and that's a good disclaimer to have as well.
Check.
Hence why I decided to, not be in front of the camera, 'cause, So
Yeah.
the next one is check windshield washer fluid. No, I'm gonna say this.
Basic.
No, hold on. I'm gonna say this.
I have another thing with this one.
Yes.
Too. Another grind my gear.
Hold on. I went to your establishment again
Oh boy.
when I did just the regular.
Yeah, some of the blue stuff.
Guy could ask me. I see him taking up everything, putting in the basket. So I say, hello.
Oh, what's
that
that?
blue stuff?
The blue stuff.
Oh, that's to put in for the
The window wash.
windshield. Dude, squeeze your water.
No, man. We just spoke about this, yo.
We going back into
Okay, hold on.
more
I understand
science.
squeeze your water can damage the paint. What can it do to a wiper blade
So
You ever put
and a
squeezy
windshield bar?
we spoke about squeezy. Squeezy
glass. It's
is an
glass.
active detergent.
But it's glass.
So just think of squeezy as a degreaser, right?
What is going to
So,
degrease the glass?
If it can take all them stuff away from the paint, what you can do to rubber?
Oh yeah,
You can dry out the rubber. And
That's true. That is
then again, we live in a tropical climate
So when
where
it gets hot and-
85% of the time it's
Kinda.
hot unless
Yes,
you rain,
exactly.
right? So the
Right now,
heat,
95.
yeah, the heat with that, and then you dry out.
You
By the
just
time
start
you use it, you
cracking.
ever
No, but
go in the
definitely.
car and see the blade flapping, the rubber part gone, no joke.
You streak.
That's
But
what's
really,
going on.
Yeah, but it's just squeezy by the windscreen.
Yeah, let me wash now.
Yeah, but what happened if you left the squeezy by the
Oh yeah,
windscreen?
yeah, hard, yeah.
And then it shows the walls when they start wiping. You just end up in a sudsy windscreen.
Yep.
Hey,
So,
stop laughing at me.
so no, it's not.
Yo,
no.
stop laughing at me, yo.
But on a real, I mean,
Wow.
I kind of thought about this in the earlies too, in terms
Yeah.
of like, okay, window wash, why can't I just use water,
Correct.
right? So it don't really having like lubrication properties per se,
Yeah.
but it makes it easier. Whatever additives are in there makes it easier for like bugs and different things that splatter on the windshield.
I can give you the science for that.
Yeah. So there you go.
Right.
Us,
So the
jump in.
science behind that has to do between adhesion and cohesion. Right?
It's like a friction thing
You're
going
right.
on here.
So cohesion, water.
Yeah.
Water molecules want to stay with more water molecules.
Yeah.
If you break up that adhesion, what happens? We get what we call beading.
Mm.
So when you have a film that causes the water to bead, when the water hits, it just runs off quickly. And so if you have a really good additive in that and use a window washer, you have
Yeah.
less wiping to do, you have less friction
Yes,
between.
wear and tear and the
Exactly.
wiper blade.
So it kind of sound like what would be in a car wash and wax.
Right.
That little, what's the term? The hydrophobic layer that
Yeah,
it leaves.
yeah.
That creates the water
It
beading.
creates this layer
So
that makes the water runs off easy.
in scientific terms, I've got this.
Well, today I don't have none of that. Today squeezy for me because
Use
I really need to,
window wash.
hold on, I really need to absorb all this information because it's serious.
I'm
Small
sure-
things, but good things to know. Because it's also going to extend the life of the wiper blade.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Because we just started asking, boy, why wiper blade so expensive?
That's true.
Maybe you might change it, let's say once a year,
That's true.
if you use the right thing. But you squeezy, you have to change it now
Twice.
Because
every
that,
service.
Because look at it, no. Whereas we're trying to save a little dollar here and there, instead of just investing the little dollar here and there, which would in the long term save us the big amount,
Yep.
we turn around saving, hey, let's save a little here and there and then end up
Right.
having to
And
pay.
spend one in the
Think
long
about
run.
changing a wiper blade 4 times in a year versus maybe once
Nah.
or twice. That
I've changed.
extra maybe $200
I'ma be
on your
honest.
pocket.
I'll be honest, I remember one year it maybe rained once and I changed wiper blade about 6 times.
Tell
There's
you.
no exaggeration, bro.
Squeezy.
His establishment gets some real money out of me for white people.
So we've established between episode 1 and 2, Squeezy is not
Yeah,
your friend.
Squeezy is
Now,
not
when
the
we
friend
say
when it comes
squeeze,
to
we're
cars.
talking about liquid detergent.
Liquid detergent,
Dishwashing
Dawn,
liquid,
do
right.
not use it in automotive circumstances.
The only thing I've seen people use it for is maybe when you're washing out on the wheel wells and so.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to get out mud and grime
Yeah,
and that kind of
that's
thing.
cool.
That's fine. But
Alright, so we move on now to headlight on bright and dim. So I think that's pretty straightforward. I can understand, just check it to see if the bright and dim is working.
Yep.
Most of the time you will check it in the evening. So
Yeah.
it's not something that, well, I mean, you can check it if you have a garage that you can
Most times,
control the lights.
most times you'll even realize too, like for instance, if one of your headlights out and you're driving in the night and you pull up behind somebody at the stoplight, you kind of see in the
Yeah,
reflection and realize,
Something
oh
else.
boy, or, if you drive the car often enough in the night, you realize, look, the illumination just don't seem the same, don't feel the same.
Yeah.
And again, as I said, if you have a garage where you close it and you can control the light, you can just turn off the lights and
And
then
just-
close it and then check it. And
But headlights are so important, yeah. Though that he would take it for granted how important headlights are until you end up on a really dark road.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
that is true.
And driving around Antigua in the night,
Yeah.
all them lights on factory road don't work no more.
Right.
All them lights on airport road, I see they're putting up some new lights now.
Yeah, some work, some don't.
Well, no,
So-
infrastructure is
I know.
happening.
yeah, that's another topic altogether.
Like
Right?
it's not like
Right.
infrastructure.
The road
We
infrastructure
get
is-
new roads and now we get
True,
new
true,
sidewalks and we get new lights. So
Yeah, so I got to put
Kudos
on
to
X.
them.
Yeah, time for X. Move on.
yeah, they really got me.
We're not gonna make this political.
No,
yeah,
not at
yeah,
all.
they really got me.
Not at all, not at all.
So the next one we'll go to is in check tire pressure, treads, and condition. Now, we in the Caribbean, well, for me, I can speak for myself. I'm going to speak for everybody in the Caribbean. For me, myself, until my tires look like slicks,
Oh boy.
and I change. Killer, you can say oh boy all you want.
Oh.
You can say oh boy for the
I
rest
was
of
just
the year
using
for this
slicks when I
podcast.
was racing just not too long ago. That's what it's
Yeah.
made for racing. You know?
Context.
Nah, but I'm exaggerating. But
Oh, you're
at
exaggerating.
what point?
So
At what point do you consider your tires need
Yeah.
changing? Because some people wait until they're like completely smooth, which I don't think is recommended.
yeah.
It's not.
But to what point? Because sometimes you see yet still some little treading. but
It's dangerous.
okay.
It really is. Especially,
Braking and so.
yeah,
And especially braking in
yeah.
wet
When you get in a
conditions.
wet condition and you have ball tires, that's when you
Sayonara.
realize how much tread does for a moving vehicle. Tire pressure as well. But again, context. Caribbean, we don't have to deal with much conditions outside of wet and dry. On a dry surface, you could probably carry those tires down to the wire. And
But then the next thing, prone to nails.
yeah,
Prone
I
to
kid you
it's
not.
probably gonna be a lot
Stone.
easier to.
I kid you not. So, last couple months, had some issues, and I'm like, I'm gonna take my tires as far as possible
as you can.
Yeah.
before I change them.
But drive safely with it. Though.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't
I have
overdo.
short journeys,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and
no
fuck it
real
too much.
speed. We don't have highways to
Per
deal
se.
with because to say well you get blow out and you can't get spin
Right,
because
right.
our speed limit, highway speed limit is 40 miles an hour.
Correct.
First, all people laugh at that.
Hey, we live on a small island. Huh?
Yeah,
Don't
small
worry,
island.
don't
It's
worry.
all good. You need
We
to
don't really
move,
get speeding tickets, though, so
Yeah.
it's all good.
you need to move more than 40 miles an hour.
Correct.
And I kid you not, a tree root without a sharp point puncture my tire.
Oh.
What?
Oh. Same
For how-
thing I
for
just
how-
talked about.
Far down the edges were balling.
Wow.
And
Because they will start to show why and other things.
right,
too.
they start to show why. And sometimes you'll have tread on the top, and you think, oh, it's okay, I have some tread on the top, but the sides are so
Might be-
far worn
might
down,
be, yeah.
maybe because too much camber on toe. Not a,
Especially on the
Topic
inside
altogether.
of the tire, you may not
Yeah.
be able to see it very much on
Yeah,
the inside
that's-
of the tire because that's way
yeah, yeah.
underneath.
So that's and
The
that's where
first,
line
the
is
first
and so on.
puncture we ever got when my wife driving was
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
Treads look fine, outside look fine, and yes, it was a pothole.
Yeah.
But when we took off the tire, whatever, when to
Realize.
take off the tire,
Get cut
wire.
and so. Yeah, if you're
because
not
the
careful.
inside was
Yeah,
well
that
worn.
happened. That happened
So
to me.
when
already.
you're checking your tires, guys, especially the front tires, at least go in the vehicle, start it, make sure no traffic in and out, or if you're in a garage or enclosed area,
Full up.
turn the wheel out one way, check that side. Turn the wheel out all the way the other way, so you can see the full
Yeah.
width of the tire and not just what you're seeing
On the outside.
from the outside. Right?
And that's just like your monthly, weekly, you know,
Alright.
so daily checks.
Yeah.
And let's just add one way of, you know, making sure that you do these monthly, weekly, minor checks is actually washing your vehicle. So my boy used to tell me, listen,
Mhm.
the
That's
only
a
way
good
you
time
can know
too.
what something
True,
is happening
true.
on your
Mhm.
vehicle is when you wash it.
True.
Because if you constantly taking your car to a car wash to wash,
You
then
just,
you
the
pretty
things you
much
won't
would
see.
know.
That's
The
true.
things you won't even know. Yeah.
But if
That's
you
true.
just at least spend at least once a month
Yep.
washing your vehicle, you will notice a lot of things. You realize, okay, when you're
Yeah.
cleaning on the wheelbase,
Mhm.
you realize, okay, the treading going, you know, your valve cap may be gone, your tires look a little bit soft,
Yeah.
you might missing a
When it
lug
comes to
nut
track.
here or there, your lights not working, you have scratches on your vehicle, all these stuff. So
There are two other things with the threads though. We could
Yeah.
use a tread depth gauge.
Yeah, you could
if
get one of
you'd-
those.
If you'd like to do it, but
correct.
to be honest,
It's a
most
bit
people
much.
just use like 10 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, I know about the 10
yeah,
cents.
they- you'd see like if you can, I think they just use like a dime,
Yeah.
American 10 cents, and if you can see above the head of something, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at least you can get an idea of the depth. But once again, as Oz said, I mean that may just be one part of the tire. You got to look at the outsides to make sure it's
Yeah.
also wearing evenly.
And again, beauty about this podcast is we're gonna have a whole topic, a whole
Yeah.
episode as it pertains to.
Which takes us
Tires
into
and
alignment,
Alignment, rotation,
all of the
balancing.
other things.
But we're gonna get there. So the next thing we would like to move on to is the quarterly car maintenance check,
This is basically the service.
Yeah.
Alright.
and that's very important. So, on the next episode, we will try to get into that. Just make sure you subscribe, stick around, you know, do all that nice stuff. Turn on notification bell. Follow us on our social media platforms. We have the link and everything in the description below. Just
Every
make sure
time.
you follow us and stay around for all that good stuff.